Hey world, it's Tobo. It is November the 16th of 2013, and welcome back to the Wait a Second, it's Minesweeper. This is... Yes, this is going to be a very different show than is the normal because it doesn't have anything to do with Spy Party. Someone saw me playing Minesweeper in one of the pre-shows and noticed I was fast at it. I requested I do a tutorial about Minesweeper, so here I am, doing a tutorial about Minesweeper. So, basically the way I'm going to structure this thing is I'm going to do a quick couple minutes of rundown about what the game actually is and how it works, because I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can, because I know that's not what you guys are actually here for. After that, I'm going to get into the real meat of things and start talking about patterns. That's where most of the real meat of the gameplay is. It's all about patterns. Minesweeper is a pattern game. Remember that. It's all patterns. After that, I'm going to talk about the art of guessing, which plays a fairly big role when you're playing expert mode. There's also going to be some numbers thrown in there. And then at the end, I'm just going to play a round or two while I'm talking through my thought process, just so you guys can get a feel for what's going through my head while I'm playing these games. So, apparently, the chat is going like, wait a second, what is going on? I kind of am as well. That's okay, we're going to get through this. It's going to be silly, but we got this, don't worry. So, I'm starting things out here on beginner mode, just to give a quick rundown of things are. This is what the game looks like, and the way it works is you have to find mines. So, you left click to start uncovering spots, and you right click to flag mines. The way I actually do this is... Oh god, my chat. This is amazing. Alright, so the way this works is each of these numbers represents how many mines is next to that particular square. So the most common one is, you see a 1 in the corner here. There's only one space next to it, so you know that's a mine. And you can start uncovering spaces based on that. And that's pretty much how the game works. So hopefully you guys can see. Anyone who doesn't know how to play Minesweeper, this is basically just me explaining how to play Minesweeper. It's a pretty simple premise. Once you know how the game actually works, beginner mode, you should be able to get through first try. Unless you get a terrible seed like this. That is unfortunate. Alright, 50-50 time. Didn't get it. Well, that's embarrassing. Oh, crap. Alright, so, that's part 1 finished. Alright. Yeah, that went fairly quickly. Tobo, the person who's good at Minesweeper but loses on beginner mode. Alright, so, next thing I need to talk about is patterns. And that thing I showed you guys with the one on the inside corner there, that is actually one of the patterns I'm going to be talking about. That is the most basic pattern you'll ever see. The other really basic one I don't actually have here, so the other really basic ones are, if this 2 is a 5, you see a 5 on the outside corner, you flag them all as mines. If you see a 3 on a wall, those have all got to be mines. Those are all the really basic ones. It gets a lot more complicated after that. Now, let's say we didn't have anything good on the top portion here. Let's look at the bottom. I don't know what to call this pattern, because I've heard it called a whole bunch of things and explained in a whole bunch of ways, but the one most common name for it is the 1-1 pattern, or the 1-2 pattern, depending on where it shows up. Doesn't really make sense for how I explain it, but here's what I'm going for. I'm actually going to turn on question marks for this. And the way it works is, if you look at this 1 on the very edge here, you know that one of these 2 spaces is a mine. It has to be. There are only 2 possibilities. Now, the one next to it says that one of these 3 spaces has to be a mine. But since, because we know it's one of these 2, then this 3rd space has to be safe. It's the only possibility. And then once you've got that, you can continue with that because you know with this one that it's in one of these 2 spaces, which means all 3 up here have to be safe. And then you can look back at these 2 again. Now that you've got this guy, you can continue to open things up. And now I did it enough. I actually have something to work with here, so I'm able to do that. I can do the same thing down here, so we know that's safe. We know those are safe. And now I actually have enough to start filling this out. Now I could have just started from the top there, but that's boring. I'm not going to do that. But, yeah, now that we've got all that done, we can pretty much just start plowing through things. Oh, yeah, there's something I'm doing here that lots of people don't realize you can do in Minesweeper. Let me explain what this is exactly. It's called chords. It's a weird name for it, I know, but the way it works is if you have a space, let's say this 2 here, that already has all the mines around it flagged, you can click on it with both left click and right click at the same time, and it will click on all the spaces that have yet to be clicked on, which is really helpful when you get things like this little 1 here, and you can click on 4 spaces at the same time. It makes things go a lot faster, and I've basically learned to just do that 100% of the time, because usually it speeds things up quite a lot. That was a misclick. I shouldn't have done that, but what can you do? And this is a good opportunity to show the 1-2, which basically, it's the same idea. You know it's one of these 2. It has to be. But since it can only be one of those 2, there has to be a mine here, because no matter which one the mine is, it's not going to satisfy the 2 next to it, so it's got to be an extra mine there. So I can start applying that to the 1, start coming down here, basically just continuing to play the game as it was intended to be played. And I'm just going to power through this unless I find something interesting. And if I don't, we'll just move right on to expert mode, and I can show you some of the more complicated patterns. But yes, it's either here or here, so it can't be there pattern is... It's easily the most important pattern in the entire game. It's something you're really going to want to use to playing with if you're actually playing a lot of this game, because it will get you out of a whole lot of situations you couldn't get out of otherwise. Also, I'm going to be entirely honest, you're probably not going to beat expert mode unless you can do that. Apparently, Drawnor's already really happy about how this is going, because I'm fast at Minesweeper, and it scares people sometimes, but it's a lot of fun. So, let's step into expert mode. Yes, expert mode is pretty big. Wow, that was a quick start. Alright, time to start talking about things. So, there are a few patterns here that are... Well, I see a couple of things. The first thing I see is these 4 1s in a line here. There's not really a whole lot you can do with 4. You can work things fine with either 3 or 5. But when you've got 4, things are a little bit weird. It means there's either mines here or here and here. It's either this or one of those 2. I can't tell you which one for sure until I get some more information. But this one here, on the bottom there, that's the most important one. Because the way this works is whenever you see a 1 all on its own on a wall like this, there has to be a mine in front of it. There just has to be. And I'll explain to you why. You don't need to know why, you just need to know that's the case. Basically what it means is, let's say for example that it wasn't a mine there. Let's say there was a mine here. Now, the only way to appease the rest of this 2 here would be, actually I don't know if it works on corners like this, so I'll see if I'm saying something stupid or not. The only way to finish up this 2 without screwing up the 1 next to it is to put another mine next to it like that. And so, actually, yeah, this wasn't a very good example because it's on a corner, so that 2 could actually, is actually a bit of a wild card. So let me take that back. This is actually terrible. I've got like nothing to work here. I'm just gonna kind of go all in on that and hope. All right, so that worked out fine. Let me just plow through this a bit until I can find something more interesting. I really want to find one of these patterns because it's that one and okay. Let me actually just recollect my thoughts here. The 2 I really want to show you guys are that one, because that was a really important one. Another one is alternating 1s and 2s on a wall. You can do a lot with those. And finding those 1-1 and 1-2 patterns just in the middle of frickin' nowhere are the things I really want to show off here. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Oh, look, here's another good one. It's either here or here. That's not a 2 because it's already got 2 mines next to it. It acts as a 2, so you know that has to be a mine, which coincidentally finishes up that 4 for us. So we can start getting some play off that. And if I make any horrendously bad misclicks, that's just because I'm not used to this version of Minesweeper. I usually play on the Windows 7 version, which is... it's a lot different than this one is, and the squares are just a little bit bigger, so... I probably should have been actually paying attention to that rather than just talking, but let's see if I can find a good seed for one of these. Is that a good one? No, it's kind of boring. Wow, there's a lot in here. Well, here's the 3 on the wall thing I was talking about. That's one of the basics. And here's another fairly good one. The 2 on a wall of 1s. This is the alternating 1s and 2s things I was talking about. There's another one over here and over here. The 2 has to have the mines on a diagonal to it, because as soon as you put a mine in the middle there, immediately you can't put another mine to finish up the 2 without screwing up the 1s next to it. So it's got to be like that. I can do the same thing over here, and there was one other one I saw. Where was that? Oh yeah, over here. I can do that as well. So, that pattern is another one for you guys to pay attention to. So, if there are any more patterns that come up that are interesting, I'll let you guys know, but those are the basics. As long as you can get a good grasp of the 1-2 and 2-1 patterns, then you should be more or less good to go. This seems like a perfect opportunity to go into the next part, which is guessing. Now, look at this corner. This corner frickin' sucks. There's literally no way I can tell for sure where the mines are here. Now, there are 2 distinct possibilities. Now this, I'm going to be honest, this is a situation that comes up a lot, where you just have 4, like a 2x2 block in the corner. It looks like a Tetris block with everything around it opened up, and you can't tell where the mines are. It's really annoying. When you get a situation like this, always play in the corner, because the way the situation works is there's either 1 or 2 mines in there. If there's one mine, it's not in the corner. And if there are two mines, there's a 50% chance that it's in the corner. So the corner is the safest spot to play. So, and we just uncovered a 1, which is perfect, because we know that the mine's on the other corner. The other two are safe. So that's how you deal with that. But, now that we're talking about guessing, I've got some numbers to throw at your guys' faces that you guys are going to find really interesting. I'm going to keep this about expert mode because that's the one that's really difficult. In expert mode, the odds of any given space being a mine is about 20%, I think. So, this means if you're, let's say for example, you've got half of the board done, but you can't get any headway in the second half, even if you can find a guess that's like 2/3 in your favor, like not even a 50-50, like 2/3 in your favor, so it's a much more reasonable guess, it's still more likely for you to just click on a random spot on the board and have it be not a mine than to make your guess, which is interesting, but not particularly useful. Here's where the really useful stuff comes in. If you click on the, like, right in the corner of one of, like, an expert mode corner, except for this one, but I'll talk about that later. Don't click in the top left-hand corner. But if you click on any other corners and it's not a mine, it has a 50% chance to not have any other mines around it. So you'll wind up with a blank space, which gives you room to work with if you click in a corner. So corners are good guesses to use if you're stuck. Corners are helpful. The other best place to do it is along the sides, because like right in the middle of the side where it's like what am I talking about? Along the sides, you have a, like, if you don't click on a mine, about a 31.5% chance for it to be a blank space. So if you need a guess, corners first, edges second. Try to stay away from the middle if possible. So if you're just starting up a game and you really don't want to lose on the first couple moves for some reason, that's where you want to play. Another thing that I wanted to mention is I'm just going to start playing this while I start talking about guesses, because I don't have to guess yet, and I guarantee if I get far enough in this game, I'm going to have to guess at some point. So, lots of people, when they play Minesweeper, a big problem that they have is they see a 50-50 guess, and it looks like they have to just go for the guess, even if they don't, and they just don't realize they don't. They don't look into their guesses enough to make sure they actually have to make the guesses. Sometimes people will just make a play that's bad and they don't necessarily realize it's bad. And sometimes that's not because they're just making a guess when they don't have to. Sometimes it's because they're trying to play so fast that they don't have enough time to react, so they wind up making a guess by accident. So, honestly, I'm just waiting until I have to guess here. Apparently I didn't get a very good seed for guessing in, so I'll just whip through this as fast as I can until I find something. And then, once I'm done talking about guesses, I'll just start playing games and talking about what's going through my head, because in my experience, that's a pretty solid way to learn. Looks like I'm coming up on a guess here. I'm not there yet. 3 mines left. Oh. I just won. Let me explain the issue with the top left corner then. So, here's how that works. I didn't have to guess that entire game. That's super unfortunate. So, have you ever noticed that in Minesweeper, the first click is never a mine? Like, it's literally not allowed to happen. That's obviously coded in, but here's how that works. As soon as you load up a game, it randomizes the position of all the mines, and that is set in stone for the remainder of the game, except for the first click. The first click, if it's a mine, and this is weird, the first click, if it's a mine, will just take that mine and put it in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. It just does that. If the upper left-hand corner is already a mine, it'll just put it next to that. So, as soon as you make any click at all, immediately there's a much higher chance for the top left-hand corner to be a mine. So don't click there. It's not a tactically sound idea. Anyways, I want to talk about guessing. I need to find a good seed for this. So, wow. No, you know what? I'm going to start going along the edges here because I want smaller things. I can work with this a little bit. Should be able to start playing something off of this. That doesn't look like it's going to spiral into any guesses anytime soon, so that's a little bit unfortunate. If I don't get a good seed for this anytime soon, I'll just start playing games. Wow. We found a guess. We found a guess. All right, let's actually have a look at this. So, I've already done the 1-2 here. It's either one of these two, but since that 2 is there, that has to be a mine there. And let's have a look at this. We've effectively got, on the top side, we've got 1, 2, and then a 3 there. So, that 4 has 4 spots open. 3 of those are mines. So, it's a fairly safe guess to say that this is safe. Alright, cool, it was. It's a 3 that doesn't help me at all. That's unfortunate. Do I really want to take... Oh, wait. It does help me. Derp. Perfect. So... have I played that out already? It looks like I have. I really don't want to go for a 50-50 here. But, this is another good opportunity to bring me to another point, which is when you do have to make a guess, try to make the guess that will help you the most. Like, I've got 3 50-50 guesses here. I've got one of these two, I've got one of these two, and I've got one of these two. Which one of these will help me the most? Well, looking at this, the one that would help me the most is if this was a mine. And since I've got 50% that that's true, I'm tempted to click on this space right here. I shouldn't do that. I should probably just click in the 2 other corners that I have yet to click in. That's not the upper left-hand corner because that corner is bad. I really should just click in one of the other corners, but I'm going to try to make a point here. That's going to be a really helpful square if it's a mine, so... Alright, cool, that is a mine. So, yeah, that actually just got me out of that situation altogether. That's fantastic. I'm trying to think if there are any other numbers I want to chuck at you guys. I don't think so. So I'm just going to start playing games, and talking through my thought process, so you guys can get a good idea about the percentages as I was throwing out. That's for expert mode only. The percentages are even higher on intermediate and higher again on beginner because it gets progressively easier. So let's get into the game here. Take some water. And let's get this started. Alright, cool. That's game 1. That's game 2 done. Alright, we've got something here. There's a 4 there. With only 4 spaces around it. I can do that easily. That's a helpful 1. Again, the 4 there. It's really helpful. Oh, here's a pattern I never talked about before. This 3 on an outside corner. When you've got a situation where there are 5 spaces surrounding a 3 like this, and the other 2 are corners, that is the position that the 3 winds up in. It's not hard to figure out, it's just something that you should keep in mind. So I've got a 3 on a wall here, that's pretty easy. Center 1 in the corner there, same there. 2 on the wall, 3 there. So I haven't really found anything particularly interesting yet, but being able to... You know what? Let's try to figure out this, because this looks interesting. It's either here or here, so it can't be on that one, which means it's got to be on these 2. So I can start building up that way. And again, because it's got to be one of these 2, it can't be this. That 3 doesn't help me, but I can start making plays here. It's got to be either that or that. That's got 2 off of it, so I can play that. Again, it's a 3, which doesn't really help me because that's a mine. So that's unfortunate. I know I'm making this harder on myself than I have to be, but that's fine by me. Let's look at this. We've got 1, 2, 2, and then a wild card. Oh, look, there's a 2 there. I can just open up. So we've got... This is effectively a 2. That's effectively a 1. That's effectively a 2. That's effectively a 1. So I can just do that. And that should be safe. That doesn't make any sense. What am I talking about? 1, 2, 2, 1. So... can't actually do anything with that. That's super unfortunate. Oh, well. Do I actually have anything on this side going for me? Like, I know I can play over here fine, but I'm going to need to tackle this eventually. I may as well do it now. It's just got interesting. So, is there anything I can do with that? Not really. Again, I can't do anything with this reasonably well. This is... I mean, I've got a 66% chance on these. I really don't want to take a 66. You know what? I'm going to play in the corner. That didn't work. Damn it. Alright, let's start over. Oh, crap. Start playing so fast. Alright, cool. Hey, look, 2s. 3 2s on a wall. That's a mine. Gotta be. So, just like if this situation was reversed, by the way, if we had the 2 and then 3 1s and then more 2s, that would actually be safe. Just, the more you know. These little patterns that you work out as you play wind up being really helpful, because eventually it gets to the point where, like, things like this, that wouldn't even register to me usually, except the fact that I've seen that pattern so much, I just know that there's mines like this. Quite often I can't explain very well why I make the plays that I make. I just know that it looks right, so I do it. Once again, using chords a lot because it speeds things up. Makes you have to click a lot less, which makes you be able to play a lot faster. Which is, in the end, what the game's about, winning quickly. Either there or there, so it's not here, which means that I can get through this easily. There's the 2s there. I should be at 3, only had 2 left on it, so those are mine, so that's safe. I kind of feel like I've run out of things to talk about, which is a little bit unfortunate. So once we're done this game, I'm probably going to call it there. This was an interesting little experiment. There's not enough meat here to really do it for any extended period of time, though. Minesweeper is a game that's not particularly in-depth, I guess. It doesn't have an amazingly high skill ceiling. Once you get to a certain point, you just start playing faster and faster and faster and faster, and that's where the skill comes in, for the most part. Until then, it's just finding patterns. Like, we know there's a mine there because it's one of those two, and we have to have an extra one. Do the same thing this way, but in reverse, which means we've opened up that. And hopefully I won't... Yay, no guessing in the corners. I love it when that happens. So it's time to actually go on to this side now and finish up with the right end of this game. Oh, look. 5, with 5 things open. That's kind of obvious. So, let's just throw as many mines up there as I can. And start playing from here. Alright, so it's either there or there, so it can't be there. And, oh, that's an unfortunate 2. But should be able to work with it just fine. So it's not there. 4 is 4 next to it, so that's good. It can't be this one. Oh, that was helpful. This really isn't a game you can commentate. It's one you really just have to play. So, if there's anything you guys have questions about, let me know, because I'm just playing kind of slowly so you guys can see kind of what's going on. That's safe. This 4 is safe. Sometimes I forget and just start going speed demon mode because that's what I'm used to doing. There, so it's not there, which means it's not there. Which means it's one of those two, which kind of is unfortunate. Do I have to guess again? Looks like I might have to guess again. I'm very tempted to just say that's a mine and call it done, but I don't know why I want to do that, really. So, let me examine this. If that's a mine... Okay, let's say, for examples, that this is a mine. Well, it can't be a mine, because then these two would both be safe, and then we wouldn't be able to fill out that too. So that can't be the case. So let's say this is a mine, which means it can't be either of these two, but it could be 2 of these 3. Is there any reason why it can only be 1 of those 3? Not that I can see. So maybe I shouldn't be so fast to make that play. But it's better than a 50-50, isn't it? Looks like it. I'm going to do it. And I got bitten for it. Alright. Well, the one game that I actually won tonight was completely by accident. I was looking for a situation where I had to guess and just nothing came up. So I think I'm going to cut it off here. If you guys have any questions, fire away. If not, I'm just about ready to call that done. Allow me to pimp my usual actual standard Spy Party show. That will happen tomorrow at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, as is my way. And then Tuesday, again, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, will be the Friendship Cast with somebody. I don't know who yet. And then Fridays are usually Spy on the Hill, which is on the standard, the official Spy Party Twitch page, which is twitch.tv/spyparty. I'm done. Thanks for coming out, guys. I hope you learned something. If not, that's fine. Minesweeper is still fun. Hope to see you guys tomorrow, and until then, this is Taboshi, signing off.